Hello and welcome to Two Toe Tags Metal Reviews. And today we're looking at the album The Blood of Gods from the masters of mass mayhem, Gwar. Hey guys, I hope you guys like our Halloween themed video, and we're going to talk about the brand new album from Gwar. So I'm going to kick it off, and I'm going to talk about my least favorite song on the album. What is it called again? I forgot already. The Death to Dickie Duncan. What a silly name for a song. For one, that name alone is silly.
Very silly.
But this song gave me, definitely got one of those old school vibes, old school classic metal, classic rock, whatever you want to call it. Alice Cooper-y vibe. But I don't know, there's nothing that grabbed me about the song. I really just don't have anything good to say about it. There's this like little kid's voice that you hear throughout the song, which is, I guess positively, it's a nice change. It's something different, but it does get pretty annoying.
Yeah.
So that's just my least favorite. I don't want to totally rip it apart because, I mean, there's not really much I can say about it, so I'm just going to say that it's just, I wish it wasn't there. It kind of is a little bit of a bleh, a little bit of a blemish on the album. But other than that song, I think this album is pretty damn good. Okay? I'm going to talk about my favorite songs, which are Crushed by the Cross. Oh, yeah, Crushed by the Cross. And Swarm. Now, both of these songs, I like them for one specific reason. And that reason is because they remind me of the Gwar era that I love. Now, I'm not too big of a fan of the old Gwar or the new Gwar. I'm more of like right in the middle. Like the Beyond Hell, Violence Has Arrived, War Party, you know, between like the early to mid 2000s of Gwar era. And those two songs remind me of that era. Now, specifically, Crushed by the Cross. I mean, both these songs actually, they're thrashy, they got cool solos in them. There's actually cool solos throughout this whole album. In my opinion, I find they're stylistically cool. They got some good flair to them. They're not super technical, but they serve the purpose that they're supposed to serve, and I like that. And they're not too long. I mean, I just like the solos. I like a lot of things about this album. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I'm kind of going all over the place with this, but it's a fun album. And I mean, like I said, there's two songs I like specifically. Fuck This Place, I also love that song. That's a fucking great song. Really good. El Presidente is awesome. War on Gwar, the very first track, is really cool. It has a bit of a Black Sabbath vibe at the beginning, then it kind of goes into some other stuff. There's a lot of cool tracks, man. Phantom Limb, last track on the album. A little iffy on that, but you know what? I'm kind of blabbing and rambling here, so I'm just going to pass the floor on to you. Well, what songs did you like or dislike?
Now that you mentioned Phantom Limb, I actually like that one a lot, and I thought it was a really good ender to this album. Although there is a cover right after of AC/DC, If You Want Blood. For our purposes, we're not really going to count that as part of our specific review of the album critically. So
we don't count cover songs for reviews.
Exactly. So Phantom Limb being a really cool outro track, slow, methodical. You know, it's kind of driving, and it feels like it paints a picture in my head that the war is over. Like, they've all fought, you know, all the soldiers, they've been killed, and it's just the battlefield, and it's an empty, barren wasteland of a battlefield remaining. That's the kind of vibe I get from this song. Gwar, you know, they talk about all the fighting, all the war. They have the giant lore, which is something I really like about them as a band. Mm-hmm. And so it really kind of fits in with their narrative, having that picture painted in my head when I listen to this song. So I thought it was really cool to have such a chill song at the end. Some albums, you know, some artists like to have such, you know, a good punch to the end to kind of kick you out the door at the end of an album. But this album,
it was a little more somber.
Exactly, a lot more chill. Now, you know, you were saying there was a lot you liked about this album, a lot that you really enjoyed. I feel the same way. There was a lot on this album that I could just listen to and be like, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Like the first track, War on Gwar, you know, starts kind of a Black Sabbath feel, and then it goes in hard. And I found a lot of these songs are just going in hard. Going in aggressively, putting a lot of energy and then a lot of action in the music of Gwar. Like, you know, you said you didn't like Death to Dickie Duncan. I didn't really like that one either. You know, as you said, the kid was annoying. Yeah. I felt the kid was annoying. You know, I'd listen to it, I'd be like, Like, compared with everything else that's on this album, why really listen to that track? And I kind of have a similar feeling for I'll Be Your Monster.
Yeah.
That song alone is not that bad. It's, it's neat, it's groovy, it's fun to listen to, but compared to stuff like Viking Death Machine, El Presidente, Swarm, all this other shit on the album, it really kind of starts to stick out as a sore thumb, and it doesn't really look as good to me compared to everything else in this album. So that's kind of an issue there. But it has a kick-ass music video. You guys should check out our reaction to that. That was a great music video.
Yeah, it was fun.
But yeah, like I said, this album is really fun. I'm not too familiar with Gwar in general as a band, so coming into this, I was pretty fresh to their sound. And 80s thrash. It's I still get those definite vibes. It's not like they completely changed their sound, I feel. They've probably, kept it stagnant at least.
They've always had sort of a punk-infused style. A lot of people say Gwar is like hardcore punk. A lot of people say they're metal. And the difference is, to me, and I've heard this before, is that any band that's kind of on that bridge, if they have guitar solos, they're metal. If they don't have guitar solos, they're punk. So I would put Gwar in the metal category, but they always have that hardcore punk flair to them. And yeah, it's definitely like an 80s thrash or like old school hardcore punk mixed with a bit of classic rock, or maybe classic metal, I should say, vibe. And this album kind of has that whole mixture all woven in together.
Yeah, you mentioned guitar solos as well on this album being pretty good. I thought that, there are a lot of guitar solos on this album. I felt they were all entertaining. It's not like, I'm getting bored of this guy's style. Every single guitar solo made me think, that's cool, or this is great, or this is, really doing good for the song. So I felt very good guitar work there on this album. Anything else you'd like to say about it? Before we
a couple things. I think that it's a fun album, like we said. I think it's a mixture between, like the hardcore punk and this like thrashy and like classic metal, like we just said. Blothar, the Berserker, the new vocalist. This is actually his first album with Gwar, but he's not a brand new member. He's actually the original Beefcake the Mighty back in the late 80s and 90s when the band first started. So he was actually, I'm pretty sure one of the original members, and he came back after Odorous died, R.I.P. They actually had a female vocalist for a quick while, a little stand-in, Volvatron, who was kind of ridiculous. And then Blothar steps in, and I gotta say, mad props to Blothar. He does this band justice. He does the vocals justice. I think Odorous should be proud of the performance, because he maintains the Gwar sound. He doesn't sound exactly like Odorous, but that's a good thing in my opinion. But he maintains the sound enough to the point where the band doesn't sound foreign. It doesn't sound like a different band. When bands get new vocalists, it could be a whole different ball game. In this case, it still sounds like Gwar, it feels like Gwar. The Gwar presentation is there. These guys nailed it. I think they did a very good job at on this album, especially for Blothar's very first performance with Gwar. So am I gonna rate it now, or are you gonna rate it first? What do you want to do?
You can rate it.
I'm gonna rate it. Okay. So as much as I really like this album, I don't think I can at this point give it a toe tag, because it's still not up to par with my favorite era of Gwar. This album, it's great, but it still doesn't compare to War Party. It doesn't compare to Violence Has Arrived. It doesn't compare to those albums that I hold dear to me, which would get toe tags. Those albums I would give toe tags because they're amazing. So I would give this a 7 out of 10, which is still a solid review. The reasons why I don't give it the full score is because of songs like Death by Dickie Duncan, Death to Dickie Duncan, whatever it's called. I don't even care what it's called, to be honest. And and also a couple of the songs like I'll Be Your Monster, they have this like old school metal vibe, Alice Cooper kind of stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that style of music, so to hear Gwar doing it, I know it's like kind of reminiscent of their old school style, which is fine, but there's a reason why I don't really like that old school style. That's just me, personal preference. But yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. Still a solid score, fun album, great to listen to, lots of good stuff, some really strong tracks, and a couple of weak ones, but Give it a chance, but let's hear your score here.
All right. Well, coming from someone who's kind of an outsider to Gwar, like I said, I'm not exactly too familiar with the stuff. I came at this album with a very open mind. I didn't really have, like you, some albums to really compare it to. And there are a lot of great songs in this album. There are a lot of songs that I feel like I can put on and still enjoy, but I feel like a lot of it would kind of get forgettable, in the long run, test of time. Like months from now, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, the Blood of Gods, and put on all these tracks. It's probably something I would keep in a playlist. I don't really feel like it's something that's really up at that toe tag level. So for me, it gets a 7, so double 7s, because I don't really feel it's give that packing punch to really get it up to toe tag level. It's not something that's really exceptional to me, but it's something that's very enjoyable, and you should definitely check it out anyway.
But that's pretty much it for this special Halloween edition of Toe Tags Reviews. So be sure to leave your comments below. Let us know what you guys think of the Blood of Gods and Gwar in general. Let us know what you think of our review, and also let us know what you guys are dressing up for Halloween. And let us know what you think of this, the little corpse paint getup. We decided to go a little crazy for you guys. But that's it. So yeah, like, comment, favorite, subscribe. That's going to be it for now. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
We'll see you guys later.